watched them bloom for me and you.
Way you would do it.
Yeah.
If you had an illness come on rather sudden with fever, you'd want to get fresh garlic, 3 to 5 cloves every hour.
That's right.
Into your system.
If it's something really serious, like we'll have patients come in here with a cold. Okay, the cold is a rhinovirus, so it is a virus versus a bacteria. So, but we will still usually have patients on garlic because there's often a bacterial component. Because once you get the rhinovirus, then you get an infection, and of course that's bacterial, usually blah blah blah, that type of thing. If you're in here with a cold or a flu, I generally tell you 4 garlic capsules 5 times a day. You know, I'm talking about really serious, like the West Nile, or you know your child has the enterovirus, or you suspect it, or Ebola. It's 5 caps every single hour.
So how does a person that may be going through extreme fever or delirious get those down? Can you actually make a tea with garlic?
Great question. Now that was good. All right. Generally what you do in the case of that, especially in children, though you can do this with adults, is you can do it as teas. You can do it, remember I told you about putting the paste on the bottom of the foot? That will actually get the garlic into your system.
Oil?
Oil. Oil is another way to do it. Oil works great. You can put it on the skin. You can put it in the ear. It will get to you. In one other way that's not very comfortable, but I have personally seen it save lives. Anybody know? Enemas. That's right. Exactly. Are enemas fun? No. But they will save lives. We had a child that came in here one time, about 9 years old. This is long before you came to the clinic. Had acute appendicitis. The appendix was inflamed, swollen, infected. The parents took him to the hospital. The hospital went, got to cut it out right away. Okay? Emergency, they said, we got to do it. The parents said, no. And this is the first time I'd ever met them. They called the clinic and they said, this is an emergency, will you please help? So we did. We actually opened the clinic up for them. I didn't have to do the whole night thing, but I told them what to do. We told them what to do, because I said, are you sure you want to do this? You know, because it's always like, really? Okay. I personally agree, but I can't tell you not to take your child to the hospital. It's your choice. They said, no, we wanted to do it. We had them take some medication, garlic and echinacea golden seal, to help fight the infection component. But we also had them take the same type of stuff, and a lot easier with a child. Gave them an enema, got it up into the intestinal tract. You actually will absorb the medications from your intestinal tract. So whether it's a very weak child or a very weak adult that cannot tolerate it, you can do it in the ear, you can do a skin, you can do paste on the bottom of the foot, and you can do an enema. An enema will get it into the system, and it works very, very well. This child, we had this child do enemas, catnip, and peppermint teas, those kind of things. Had them do those enemas, it took the pain out, just like that. When they got up into the bowels, it soothed them and the pain went away. And then the last most important thing we did, so if you can remember this, the day may come when you can't get to the hospital and somebody's got appendicitis. This was one of the biggest things that we did. Castor oil packs, castor oil. Not saying take it internally, I'm not into that. But you can basically heat castor oil without boiling it, soak a cloth like an old-fashioned baby diaper, and we literally had them put it over it with saran wrap and a towel, and it was literally this all night long. 12 minutes hot, 4 minutes cold. 12 minutes hot, 4 minutes cold, all night long. And it cured it. It was gone. The child never did lose. By morning, the appendicitis was gone. The pain was gone. We checked him out. He was completely clear of it. He never did get it again. Because what's happening with especially appendicitis, because this is part of the things that you want to know how to take care of. Where the large intestine starts, right about in this area, the small intestine hooks right there. So all this food that you're finally done with goes in the large intestine to be sent out. Well, right there also is the appendix. So there's 2 little openings here, one to go in and one where the appendix is at. So the appendix, in children especially, they blockage right here. Okay, so all the block occurs here. As the block increases, it starts to push the fecal matter into the appendix. The appendix wasn't meant to have fecal matter in it. It does other things for you, but it wasn't meant to have that. And it gets infected. So by doing hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold with castor oil, it's literally causing the appendix to do this. And it pushes the fecal matter out. And it works. By morning, the appendicitis was gone, and there wasn't a problem with the child. That child never did have it again.
How much raw garlic equals 1 capsule of garlic?
Yeah, it comes out to about 500 milligrams is what it is. And so basically you can do like about half a clove to a clove. Works great. Yeah, so it's generally about 500 milligrams per capsule.
I have a question, actually two, with flu season now upon us. Can you take garlic preventatively?
Yes.
And how much? And two,
Great.
can you do the fresh garlic in with what was it,
The oil?
either oil, and will it stay fresh if you
Great question.
prepare it in
Great question.
ahead of time?
That's right. Okay, making garlic oil. This is so easy. My special ones know. Garlic oil. This is how you make garlic oil. You get a bunch of olive oil, and always use cold pressed, organic, extra virgin. You can get it at Costco now. You can get it everywhere just about. You get your olive oil. You crush with a garlic press a whole bunch of fresh garlic cloves. Put it into a little jar. You fill that up with olive oil. Shake it all up. Put it aside. And for 3 days, you'd walk by, stir it around a little bit, and go on your way. For 3 days. Keep it in a cool area, not the fridge, but out of direct sunlight. At the end of 3 days, strain out all the garlic chunks and keep the oil. Keep it in the fridge. It'll last for months and months and months. It'll last for months in the fridge. That's what we tell all patients when they get done with our program here and they still have herbal medications left over. I say stick them in the fridge. They'll last for a couple of years if they're in the fridge. Same with garlic oil. Garlic oil will last for months and months in there. But you said something good. Let's go over, here is the program. I know this sounds simplistic, but here is the program for dealing with Ebola, for dealing with West Nile, for dealing with the entero, and with the flu. It's the same program. Because they will tell you when you show up for West Nile, you show up in the hospital, or you show up with the entero, or you show up with Ebola. They're all the same treatments. They have no vaccines for them. So it's basically, like I told you, just clinical supportive care. And so, first thing you do when you have a patient or a family member or whatever that has any one of these, I don't care if it's Ebola. Of course, if it's Ebola, you better go let somebody know because they're going to lock you down. You might as well get it over with. Okay, keep them very well hydrated. Encourage the fever. I can't express that enough. Encourage the fever. But always the caveat there. Encourage the fever with fluids. I don't care if the patient says, I'm not hungry. Make them drink though. We can do without food for a long, long time. I went without food for 9 days just to show, literally, I just drank some fluids for 9 days just to show that, hey, I could do it. We've got special patients that went, how many days?
52.
52 days. Mind me telling?
No, yeah, go
These two right over here went without solid food for 52 days and actually got healthier by doing it. If anybody's ever heard of the video Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, the documentary, if you've not, you can see it for free on Netflix. I highly encourage you to watch it. This guy did without solid food for 60 days. All right? You actually become healthier by doing it because it's lots of fresh juicing. So keep the patient, I don't care if it's Ebola or the cold, keep them very well hydrated. Red raspberry leaf teas, yarrow teas, things of that nature. No caffeine, none of those kind of things. No sugars, because sugar, when I say sugar, I mean bad sugars, processed and so forth. You can give them all the sugar in the world they want from fresh sources like juicing, things like that. Keep them well hydrated. That also means that especially if you're doing juicing, you're keeping them well nourished. Okay?
What about honey?
Okay? Honey is okay, as long as it's raw honey.
Yeah,
As long as it's raw honey because it still has the enzymes in it. Good question. Okay? The next thing you do while you're doing all that, do the cold sheet treatment. I would do it every day with someone who had Ebola. I would do it every single day. okay, because it does work. I've seen it, okay? Lots and lots of garlic. If you're with somebody with a very serious illness, then it's 5 caps of garlic on the hour, every hour. You'll only have to do it for about 4 or 5 days. It'll make a difference. Keep in mind with Ebola, the incubation period, once exposed, is anywhere from 2 to 21 days. The average is 8 to 10. So you could actually have the disease for 3 weeks and not know it, that you have Ebola is one of them. Most of the others are usually about 2 weeks, West Nile and so forth, before you really know that you have it. The good news is, and this is one of the things with Ebola, it is it will not transmit to someone else unless they're symptomatic. You have to at least have a fever, okay? And then once you have a fever, it is transmittable at that point. And pretty much all viruses are that way. They're not transmittable until you start showing the real symptoms for it, okay? So, keep them well hydrated, encourage the fever, do the cold sheet treatment, do lots and lots of garlic. And one other thing that I would do also, and if you guys can think of anything, let me know. The other thing is echinacea and golden seal, okay? This goes back to your question about doing something on a preventative basis, okay? Yeah, because we talked about echinacea, yeah. How does, everybody knows about taking echinacea? You take it to help fight colds and flus and things? Hmm? That's right, that's right. How does echinacea work? Echinacea causes us to drastically, very, very quickly increase our white blood cell count. You take echinacea, it's like a blood transfusion. Boom, your white blood cells just multiply extremely rapidly. How does it work? Remember what echinacea does to you?
It tricks the body into thinking it's being poisoned.
Tricks the body into thinking it's been poisoned. Okay, you've not been poisoned, but your body thinks it's been poisoned. So it overreacts and starts producing white blood cells going, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to fight it. It's going to make all these white blood cells. Okay, here's the problem. What happens after so many days?
He figures it out.
That's right, it figures it out. So after anywhere from 3 to 6 days, and I found 6 is a good number. After about 6 days, the body goes, I'm not being poisoned. And you fooled me once, no problem. And it stops working. Echinacea stops working after about 6 days. But here's the cool thing. While the body was being real snooty with you going, you're poisoning me, I know better. Stop taking it for about 3 days. Take it again. The body goes, I'm being poisoned. It forgets all over again. And it starts all over again. So about once every week or so, you stop taking it for a few days and take it back again. And it will think it's been poisoned all over again. And it works amazingly well. Me, I'm a prime example of echinacea and golden seal. It's probably oozing out my ears. Any physician or doctor or MD, whatever, or any kind of doctor, when they start working in a clinical environment, almost invariably, they get sick every single week. Every week they get sick. It's a national standard. When a doctor starts in a clinic, they get sick every single week until they start taking care of themselves. You know the old cliche, physician heal thyself? I've had a couple of patients tell me that because I was not taking care of myself. In a clinic, because I'm in a clinical environment, I take a sinus formula that we have, it's easy, anybody can do it, and I take echinacea and golden seal or garlic every single day, 7 days a week. You know, and then I'll swap out from the echinacea for something else and then take echinacea later. But I take it 7 days a week. I don't get sick anymore, do I? Since I've been doing that. Don't get sick anymore. And I'm a hugger. I'm always hugging this disease or that disease.
Blessing it.
And blessing it, thank you, that's right. Very good, Pam. That's right. You know, and I don't ever get sick because I do it every day. Don't you rest one day? Normally, yes. Like, because when I'm usually by Sunday, I've been away from the clinic so many days, I drop my dosage way down, usually by Sunday. But I still take some. I still take some because I want to keep it in my system, especially the garlic and stuff. I still keep it in my system.
Can you, if somebody's back to the flu and Ebola and all that, if somebody has a hard time taking pills, can you do like the honey and garlic like you do for strep for that too?
Great question. Okay, let's talk about that because this works with children. Okay, let me get to that in just a second. I want to finish up the last thing on daily maintenances. So we know echinacea is not a daily dose maintenance thing. You have to stop it for a few days, about once a week, right? We're good with that. Garlic can be permanent. One of the big things I always tell patients when they come in the clinic is, there's nothing you should take for the rest of your life except two things: faith and good food. You do that, because remember Hippocrates said, Hippocrates, father of modern medicine, let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. Okay, eat good food. My wife and I were standing, and some of you people are familiar with Whole Foods, Whole Food, the grocery stores. Its nickname is Whole Paycheck, because when you walk in there, it drains you. And it is. Good food's expensive, and then Whole Food takes it to another level. All right, but still, my wife and I were standing in line one time, and there was another chap in line with us as well. You know, just somebody we met right then and there. And we were joking about how, yeah, this is a whole paycheck, and you know, it's really expensive. And he brought up a good comment. You pay for it now, or you pay for it later. You either pay for it now with good food, or you pay for it later with medical bills. You choose. I'd rather have a very healthy, active, vibrant life. I may not be rich, because everything's going into organic food and tofu and stuff, but I'm healthy, and it makes a difference. Okay, so always do it. So, echinacea is something you take, you know, every so often. Garlic. But like I said, I was leading up to this, is the reason I tell patients you shouldn't have to take anything for the rest of your life. Again, the thing that you should do for the rest of your life is good food. And that means cayenne, garlic, red raspberry leaf tea, things like that. Those are foods. While they're medications, they're also foods. Take them for the rest of your life. So you can take garlic every day. It will never lose its efficacy by taking it. Echinacea will. Like we talked about, the other one that's very important, and then I'll get to what you said, is golden seal. Golden seal is stupidly expensive. The average place out here, I think like Orchard, sells it for like $200 a pound. $200 a pound. Okay, whereas I know that when you get it from a reputable source, and it's still expensive, but it's like $65 a pound. So a lot of these stores are really jacking up their prices. You can get it online, you can get it very good, we can help you with it, whatever. Golden seal is the best, bar none, by far, the best antiviral I know of. It works extremely well. I'll have patient after patient come in here with urinary tract infections or respiratory illnesses, because they're mostly viral. The list goes on and on. Golden seal works incredibly, incredibly well. So if you've got somebody with Ebola, or you've got somebody with the enterovirus or West Nile, you do the garlic, but you also do massive doses of golden seal. Keep them well hydrated, keep them well rested, well fed. 99 times out of 10, you know, out of 100, you get 10. 99 times out of 100, they will heal. They will heal. These people overseas are dying because they're so malnourished, you know, and they're doing the best they can. But that's why most people die of viruses. It's not because the virus is such a bad thing, which it is, but because their body doesn't have the immune system to fight it. Okay, so that's really it. That's the program. Good food, okay, and we'll talk about that. Be right with you. Good food, well rested, very well hydrated, garlic and golden seal and echinacea. It will work. I've seen it work time and time again. Obviously, I can't claim I've seen it work with Ebola, though I know of others that have done this around the world. Ebola is not a new disease. It's been around a very long time. This is just the latest outbreak we have going on, and people have cured it with these medications. Okay, I'm going to get to Linda, but what, you were about to say something?
What is a daily regimen on the golden seal? And then when you say massive amount, you know,
Okay,
what do you mean by massive amount?
If I were dealing with something as virulent as Ebola, again, I would try to do 5 caps every hour. This sounds like a lot of medication. 5 caps of garlic, 5 caps of, you know, golden seal echinacea. It is a lot. It is a whole lot. That's like 10 capsules every hour, okay? But when you're in the hospital, remember that they've got you hooked up to an IV and it's just flooding you with antibiotics 24/7. We do the same thing, only it's with the capsules, or it's oil, or it's one of the best things we have here, and we give it away for free. The recipe is, and a lot of people know it, is the flu stew. The flu stew, it's a potato stew that my wife created, the recipe. And Dr. Christopher originally came up with it, but he used, not cauliflower, what's the other one? No.
It was cauliflower.
It was cauliflower? Oh, I'm sorry. It was. So he made it with cauliflower. Its intent was to help knock down the taste of the garlic. Didn't work real well. Bases are trying, they went, it's still, so my wife changed out the cauliflower for potatoes. So she makes this amazing potato soup, potato stew, and with a whole bulb of garlic in it, okay? But again, crush all the garlic up, cook the potato stew when you're
Let me bring you songs from the woods to make you feel much better than you could know.